Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to the channel RVCCIS.info, where the faculty for Rock Valley College's Computers and Information Systems Department talks to you about things, roughly speaking, computers and information systems related. Today, we're going to throw a little bit of a curve in here. And over the next few weeks, we're going to start talking just a little bit about some of our certifications and our programs. We know that with the distance between you and campus, with the distance between you and advising or any of us for advising, that puts a little bit more uncertainty on an already uncertain time. Aren't you all sick of hearing that in these uncertain times? It sucks. So rather than just get quagmired in all of this uncertainty, we thought we would highlight all of our programs and our certificates one at a time. So today, lucky you, we're going to talk about our A+ certifications. And to take us out is going to be Stephanie.
Yeah, because I teach the A+ Essentials course. So we call it PCT 262 A+ Essentials. And we discuss everything in both of the A+ exams. So the A+ has 2 exams that go with it. Usually it's like a hardware-based side and then a software-based side, but they have recently switched it over. So it's a brand new exam this time around. I think it's been around for about a year. And it's the 220-1001 and the 220-1002. Yes. And we'll put the exam objectives in the notes so that you have it. But the 1001, so usually that's the first one you take because people like the hardware side of things. It is mobile. 14% of the questions are mobile devices. 20% of the questions are networking. 27% it happens to be with the hardware. 12% is with virtualization and cloud computing. And then 27% is hardware and network troubleshooting. So quite a bit of it is the troubleshooting side of things. So they kind of up that a little bit. And the best way to go through the exam is to go through the objectives that are given to you by CompTIA. So the A+ exam is given by CompTIA. It used to be $150 for the exam. For each exam, I'm not exactly sure. It might have gone up to about $180, I think. So if you are a Rock Valley College student, you can get a voucher through the bookstore because we offer that service. We are a CompTIA site, so you can actually go to the bookstore and get a voucher and then take it at our at Rock Valley College's testing center. So you can do it there, or right now everything's online. So you know, now might be the time to take advantage of some of that stuff. So that's another thing you can do. So that was just 1001. Was just those 5 items: networking, mobile devices, networking, hardware, virtualization and cloud computing, and then the hardware and network troubleshooting. The 1002 is a little different. It's got 4 areas. So you've got your operating systems, you've got security in there, software troubleshooting, and then operational procedures. So operating systems is 27%, security is 24%, software troubleshooting is 26%, and operational procedures, for some reason I can't say that word, but it's 23%. So it's almost even on that one. So this is the one that you might see some of the customer service questions that are kind of, goofy with the software, but it does have quite a bit on the operating systems and security. So that's pretty good. Now, to prepare for this, you can take my class, and then we actually use this book. Let's see if I can. Is it A+ Guide to IT Tech? I'm trying to do it so it's not glaring. IT Technical Support. So this is actually a really good book. It's comprehensive, so it covers both exams. It has the exam objectives in the front. If you could find a used copy. Make sure you get the 9th edition. I believe it's the 9th edition. No, the 9th edition is the old edition. You need the 10th edition so that you get the 1001 and 1002 information. So it's really important when you look at books for this, you want to make sure you get the 220-1001 and the 220-1002. So it's going to be a newer edition of most everything, and they're going to be a little more expensive because the books have only been out a year. So if you're like, oh, this is a really good deal on Amazon, double check, because it might be the old edition. So, and I've done that to myself a couple times too. The thing about that is the old edition has some of the same hardware stuff, but things have updated and you might miss out on the mobile app information and the security, as well as the hardware and network information. So it might be a little too dated. You can go on Reddit and search, there's so many different things that you can search. Reddit can be a very great place to go to if you know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, it can just be like this wasteland where you just kind of get lost in things. But there were a couple recommendations, like if you search for A+ certification on Reddit, you might find some feeds where people give great information. So what I've noticed on Reddit was a lot of people love the Professor Messer videos and the Mike Meyers videos. So on YouTube, and actually they're really good. I recommend my students to watch the Professor Messer videos. He's very thorough. So on YouTube, the Professor Messer videos, Mike Meyers videos, and then there's this gentleman, Master IT playlist of A+ exam topics. He's pretty good too. And so those links will be below as well. They'll be below. So we're gonna have a lot of links below for this A+ one. And then for test preparation, you really need to get in and take the questions and take some sort of test prep. If you're not used to the questions, you're not going to be successful. And Jim and I always tease each other because I'm like, somebody asked me about the CCNA, don't you think you can just go take it? I'm like, no. I need to practice those questions because Cisco likes to get tricky, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and A+ does the same thing. And you got to know how they're going to ask those questions and what they really mean. So Udemy has it's a cost, but it's UDEMY, and we'll have, again, a link below. But don't ever pay full price on Udemy. It is almost always 85% off. Right now, I think, I had it up. Right now it is $16.99. So it was normally $99.99 and now it's $16.99. And you can buy it. And that's a pretty good practice test area. And they separate it. They separate the 1001 and the 1002. So it'll be $16.99 for each test. So, and if you have Rakuten, you can actually get another 10% off. So I always use it. I like getting that check back. Yeah, right. And it seemed, it's nice. I went to the bank one day and they're like, whoa, you got a lot back from Rakuten this time. I'm like, well, it's because I keep using it for computer stuff. The other one that I thought was pretty okay, and it had some good free resources, it is Exam Compass. And again, the link will be below. I would just use the free questions for that page. They link you to CertBlaster, and I don't know, I have mixed feelings about CertBlaster, but Exam Compass, the free questions on that page. If you go and search for like brain dumps or just random questions, you never know if the answers are going to be correct. So that's why Udemy is really nice. And you don't want to mix yourself up into incorrect questions, because that'll get you messed up in the future. So
yeah, a lot of the testing stuff is learning how to take the test, right?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
It's one of the things I keep telling students when or in the chance that they get discouraged the first time they take one of the certs and they don't pass. It's like, yeah, that's the whole point. A certification is really here to help weed out some of the weaker candidates, to make sure that the candidates that can follow and conform to the testing rules get passed through. So even if you know your stuff, like between the three of us, I would argue that we probably have a fairly decent chance of walking in and being highly competent at the core functions of what the A+ cert would require of an employee. But I'll speak for me. I won't speak for you guys, but I'll speak for me. Like my test taking ability has really shrunk lately, because I haven't taken a test like that for an exam or a cert in a very, very long time now, and I would be abysmal at it because the way they ask questions would trip me up guaranteed every time.
Yeah. I had some of my high school students before we had the stay-at-home order, I had them take some practice tests, and they're like, "Whoa, this stuff is really hard."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta get used to the questions. So
yeah,
that's where Udemy comes into play. What is the other one? Oh, Jim and I kind of like Pluralsight, and I believe they also have a question bank. I think you can get either a 7-day or a 14-day trial with them. And we'll get the link on that one too. I'll get that to you, Eric. But Pluralsight, and then if there's anything that has a free trial, I would do that right before. If you have to enter a credit card in, generally I'm a little leery on that because I don't want to forget and get charged. So, I think with Pluralsight, you can turn it off. Like, you don't have to, you can just do the free trial. So books, some people like to have the paper book, in their hand. And there are 2 books other than the one that I showed that is the A+ Guide to IT. But there's the A+ Complete Practice Test book, and then there's an A+ Cert Exam Guide. So those 2 I really like. I like the practice test one. You can just go through it and go through the practice tests. And we'll put a link below for those. And you always, again, make sure you have the most current version, because the only version you can take right now, the A+ test, is the 1001 and 1002. So you want to be careful of those. There's a couple other ones, like the 31 days to your cert prep. Those books are good too. Some people really like them. Sometimes there's a lot of information in it. And what we'll do probably next week is, when we do another kind of like all around certificate video, is kind of give you tips on test taking in general. Because right now I don't, it's not like you can just choose C. There's some things that strategies for you to use. So those will be good for you as well. And we'll put those in the general cert test taking ones. So, and that's pretty much the quick and dirty version of A+ certification. And I try to include free resources, and some, to get some of the good stuff, you just have to buy it sometimes.
Yeah, anything worth having is worth paying for. You can spend hundreds or more hours digging for a few really good nuggets worth of stuff on Reddit or, elsewhere. Stack Exchange, actually GitHub has a community for things like certifications, etc. But it's time is money, and the opposite is true too. Money sometimes buys you that time that you need to really study for things. So don't think of it as wasting money on a book. Think of it as investing in getting the certification as quickly as possible, and that really tends, I think, to make you feel like you're engaged with the content and that it was worth you having done that way.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and then the other thing that I was thinking of is, students have asked me, what certification to get. What is the first one you should give, in so many different things. A+ is a good certification to get first. And then, but you don't want to get you don't want to go crazy and get all of the certifications at once. A+ is a good start. In the past, when it was Rockford Memorial, I believe is it Mercy Health now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rockford Health now Mercy Health. Their help desk, you had to have the A+ to get that position. So there's some jobs that you almost have to have the A+ certifications, and then there's other jobs that it'll put you up higher on the stack if you have a
right. You'll never hear. You'll hear you had too many certifications. That's something you will hear. Andrew, I'm thinking about you, where sometimes you'll want to keep some of that just to a minimum, but it has never been brought to my attention that somebody has gotten feedback that said their A+ certification was a negative when it came to, remember the big transfer you make when you hand in your resume someplace is you have to be transferred from the software that weeds out candidates to the people who read the resumes, the real, like human people that read it. And an A+ certification is never going to get you bounced from, the software that's looking through there, checking off little boxes that said, this candidate has an A+ cert is always in your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they've updated it pretty well where it's not, some people are like, well, it's outdated. The new one is not outdated. It has the current information. Right. So it is good stuff and a good certification to have. And that's pretty much everything I have, unless you guys have anything to add.
Very comprehensive.
Yeah. Certifications are never a waste of your time. So it's one of the things we'll repeat again when we talk about certs in general is, especially through the first 10 years of your career, the single greatest factor in repaying your education is a certification. So we'll see that again when we talk about certs in general. As we had mentioned all the way through here, the links for all of or most of, I expect, the resources we talked about here throughout the episode are going to be listed below in the comments. While you're down there, go ahead and leave us a comment. Let us know probably all of your positive feedback on having gotten certifications with us before, all of your positive employment feedback, hopefully, with having received your certs. While you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel as well. And on behalf of Jim Conley, Stephanie Washer, Chuck Conkle, who will return to us one day, and myself, Eric Wolf, thank you for watching RVCCIS.info, and stay safe and stay sane out there, everybody.